So we're doing our presentation on agency costs and the potential effects that these will have on the Waikato University. So I'm Daniel, next to me is Henry, and next to him is James. In summary, we're going to be looking at agency costs and what they are. We'll then be looking at the effect that these agency costs have on the government and the universities. We'll then be providing two examples of, in terms of the Waikato University. We'll then be providing solutions to these examples. And then we'll then conclude. So we have a short video about agency costs, just explaining what they are, the different types.
There are three main types of agency costs: monitoring costs, bonding costs, and residual loss. According to agency theory, individuals are assumed to be egoists and to act in their own self-interest. Therefore, the actions and decisions of agents may be opposite or contrary to the interests of the principals. Agency costs arise when the interests of the agents are not aligned to that of the principals. Attempting to bridge this gap between the interests of the principal and agent gives rise to costs, and these are referred to as agency costs. Thus, there is a need to redirect those self-serving decisions and actions. Good corporate governance aligns interests of the agents with that of the principals to minimize agency costs. This alignment is referred to as goal congruency. There are three types of agency costs. These are monitoring costs, bonding costs, and residual loss.
So as you can see, that's a video just explaining what agency costs are and the different types of them.
Sweet. So before we can talk about the agency costs, we have to discuss what an agency relationship is. That is the relationship between shareholders and managers. Such a relationship exists whenever the principal hires the agent to represent his or her interests. Principals hire managers because they acquire the skills to participate in the day-to-day activities that shareholders otherwise cannot take part in because it is too costly. Agency costs occur when shareholders delegate authority to managers. It is when there is a misalignment in interests between the principal and agent. So typically shareholders may want to maximize profit because they want to maximize the returns on the investment in terms of the share price and the dividends that they will receive. Managers who are making the decisions may have different objectives that may otherwise accord to their own self-interest. The relationship also has an inherent danger because there is asymmetric information. That is when the agent has more knowledge and information than the principal. In fact, that is the part of the reason why the principal employs the agent in the first place. The consequence is that the principal does not have the full access of information and is costly to observe or to take active participation in the day-to-day activities in the business. It becomes an opportunity for the agent to gain by keeping certain information inaccessible to the principal. Information may not be distributed equally between the principal and agents due to the conflicting of interest about something important known only to the agents. As a result, the principal is unable to constantly observe the agent, therefore does not have full access to the information. This may cause in the circumstances where the agent is cheating, given inadequate information and valid rationality in general.
So on from that, we have three types of agency costs. The first being monitoring costs. This is when the principal attempts to monitor or restrict the actions of the agent. Our second cost is bonding costs, which is limiting or restricting the agent's activity through contractual obligations. So these are set in stone before the agent starts. And then our last cost is residual losses, which are costs incurred when the principal and the agent's interests go different ways.
Sweet. So, in order to find agency costs for universities such as the Waikato University, we need to address the agency problem. So the agency problem can occur in situations where the government cannot directly observe the university's actions, and when the self-interested university chases its private goals at the expense of the government's goals. Self-interest can also make the university reluctant to share information about their performance with the government, or to motivate the university to send wrong information to the government. So every effort and action of a university could basically turn into a form of opportunistic behaviour when the true reasons behind the behaviour are self-interested and not in the best interests of the government. So opportunistic behaviour could have the effect of lowering the university's expected output because they employ productive resources for other purposes. And there can be a loss in effectiveness when the expenditure is meant to be used for undergraduate education, but instead is used for research or other prestige-generating activities. And therefore the agency costs are the total sum of the costs for governing universities, plus the costs incurred because of the opportunistic behaviour of the universities. So we've got a couple of examples that relate to Waikato University. So the overspending of unnecessary things. So the government provides the university money to go towards things that relate to the government's goals, such as the more students graduate, the better. So there's also been staff cuts to decrease costs at Waikato University, but this doesn't align with the government's goals of increased graduation of students, because it can affect students negatively because there's less staff. Yep.
So we have a little video on solutions to agency costs.
Agency problem resolution measures between directors and shareholders. Provision of appropriate incentives so that the agent acts in the way principals want them to. Meetings between agents and principals. Shareholders may propose resolutions for vote at AGMs. Voting rights at the AGM provides shareholders with the ability to support or oppose resolutions. In extreme cases, shareholders may accept takeover bids or divest their shares.
So as you've seen in that video, they provide a few solutions to agency costs. And the solutions that we're going to provide, firstly, in terms of the overspending, we would introduce an independent review to oversee finances twice a year. This will create great accountability for Waikato University's management team, and we also believe this will be the cheapest option available. And in terms of staff cuts, introducing a more relaxed financial guideline which will allow for a greater number of teachers and lecturers. What this will do, and what we have found, is that a greater student-to-teacher ratio increases graduation rates, and this will mean greater graduation rates for Waikato University, enhancing its reputation. So in conclusion, we believe Waikato University face the real possibility of agency costs. However, with the solutions we provided, we believe we can keep those agency costs to an absolute minimum. Thank you.